ng on changes,
ng on change,
Okay.
ng on check, ng on destroy.
ng on hit, ng on display.
Repeat them again.
Ng on changes,
ng on
ng on init,
On changes. Okay.
ng on
ng on init,
Okay.
ng on
ng on display.
Ng do check, right?
on after view
What is the last one?
ng on check, on destroy.
destroy.
Okay. So, what is the first life cycle hook here?
ng on changes.
Ng on changes. So, when it will be triggered?
It gets triggered whenever the change is happen in the
Detects and acts upon changes.
Sorry, can you repeat it? When this ng on changes life cycle will get triggered?
Whenever there is change in a parent data,
Property
at
changes.
that time only it gets triggered.
In parents data received, right? Whenever there is a change in the data received from parent, then ng on changes life cycle hook will get triggered. Correct?
yes,
What is the return type of this ng on
Yes.
changes method?
void.
Void. Does it accept any params?
Yes,
What are those params?
changes.
Changes. So, what is the type of the changes param?
Simple changes.
Simple changes.
Simple changes. In order to use ng on changes life cycle hook in the component, what we should do? Suppose if
Yes.
I want to use ng on changes life cycle hook in this component. So what should I do? First, what should I do?
Changes.
Anita, your voice is breaking. I don't know my network issue or your network issue. Yeah. Can someone tell if I want to use ng on changes life cycle hook in this component, what we should do?
First, to implement the interface,
Implements on
we need to interface.
what interface? What is the name of that interface?
On changes interface.
ng on changes interface.
We need to implement on changes interface, and it provides us method called ng on changes. Correct?
Ng on changes, yes.
And what is the second life cycle hook?
ng on init.
ng on init. For what purpose it is used? Name it. I'm not able to understand whatever you're telling, Anita. Maybe network issue from your side or
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
yeah. So can someone tell about what is ng on init life cycle hook?
It is triggered only
Hmm.
when it is needed.
It is triggered
It is
only.
when it is needed. Only once.
It is triggered only once in the lifetime of the component. That's fine. For what purpose we are using on init life cycle? For what purpose exactly? Whenever we want to do,
API calls.
yes, whenever we want to do initialization, okay, initialization of some variables, okay, or if we want to make some API calls, we will be using this ng on init lifecycle hook. And how many times it will be called?
Only once.
Only
Only
once.
once. And yeah, I didn't tell you about ng do check and ng on destroy. Okay. Understood, right, everyone? Now I
Yes.
will call out some names and I will ask randomly, okay? You need to tell. How to create a custom directive?
By using @ direct to decorator.
Okay. Ramana, can you tell about structural directives? Yeah. Can you tell about structural directives?
ng if star ng if
Okay.
star ng each upper star ng upper star ng switch.
Okay. Star ng if, star ng for, and star ng switch. Tell me the usage of star ng if.
Yeah, star ng if works on the condition base.
Okay.
It
Tell me
will,
the full definition now.
yeah, star ng if we determine in the any tag
Okay.
and we write a condition and in the component dot ts if we mention it as a boolean or boolean as a box,
Okay.
it will reflect in the document as
Mm.
whether we can show the data or not.
So what you can tell is, in simple words, if you want to render any HTML tag in the template, okay, based on a condition, okay, then we will be using star ngif. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So you need to give brief explanation, otherwise they will not understand, okay? If you want to render any HTML tag which is present in the template based on a condition, then we will be using star ngif, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So simple example, you can say you can give a boolean and you can give some p tag and make it true and false and show it. That's it. Yeah. Now explain star ng for.
Star ng for what's for iterating
Star ng for is used for iteration, okay?
iteration. Like if you want to use the star ng for, we will mention it in a HTML tag.
How you can say is, if we want to iterate an array in the HTML, then you will be using something called star ng for. Okay, if you want to iterate over an array in the HTML, then you will be using something called star ng for. And you need to give the syntax. What is the syntax? Syntax for using star ng for?
Star ng for
Star ng for, okay, equal to, okay,
I do not remember.
let,
Yeah,
you don't remember?
within the quotes we can write let the data
Yeah,
object.
data
of object
object.
and we can declare it an object as an array.
Yeah, so in the TS file, these objects will be an array. You are looping over the array of objects using the parameter called data. And you can, if you access the data, the single object in the array of objects will get returned. Okay. Shilpa, if you want to repeat, can you repeat about star ng if and star ng for? Shilpa?
Hello,
Yes, Shilpa.
can you hear me, Anushka?
Yes, Shilpa, you can tell now. What are structural directives? Okay. And
Structural directives are the
okay,
star NGF and the star NG4 and the star NG switch.
okay.
If
Okay,
you want to render any HTML tag in template based on the condition, then we will use the star NGF.
correct. Next,
And the star NG4 is used for to iterate the array
array
over an array in HTML. In
in
HTML.
HTML. Yes. Then you will be using star ng for. Okay.
Yeah.
Third one is star ng switch. Okay. Now, can someone tell me how to create a pipe? I will ask Saujanya how to create a custom pipe. Saujanya, are you there? Saujanya, are you there? Vinod, can you tell? Vinod? Only few people are listening the class. Hanumant, can you tell? Able to hear me, anyone? Hello?
Anusha, we can hear you.
Okay. Hanuman, can you tell? Bhargavi, tell about it. Okay.
We can use a pipe by using a direct pipe decorator.
Okay. Okay, we can create a pipe using at the rate of pipe decorator. And what will be the parameters here?
Name conversion pipe.
Name. So what will be the name of the pipe will be present?
Export class name.
Okay, then what extra? Export class name. What you
Name
can
conversion
tell?
pipe. Hmm.
Okay, name of the pipe. Okay. And
Implements
okay. Implements
transformation.
pipe transform interface. It implements on this pipe transform interface. Okay. Then
In flower places, we will go with the transform value.
so
Any value like
pipe transform provides a method called transform method, which
Yes.
receives a value, and whatever data you want to format it, you can just format it and return it. And what is the symbol for using a pipe?
pipe symbol.
This symbol, right? This is the symbol for
Yes.
pipe.
Yes,
Any
yes,
doubts, anyone? So how you can tell, Bhargavi, what are custom pipes? You can tell like we can create a pipe file and we can declare that pipe with at the rate of pipe decorator, and in that we will be giving the name of the pipe. Whenever you are saying something, right, you need to type it in the interviews as well. Okay, then they will understand that you have worked on it, you know the syntax and all. Okay, then
Okay.
every pipe class implements on pipe transform interface. Okay, every pipe class implements on pipe transform interface. Okay, and it provides a method called transform, which receives the value, okay, wherever the pipe is applied, and it returns the formatted data. You can tell. Correct, right? The pipe is for basically for formatting the data, right? So it returns the formatted data, you can tell. Okay. Hanumant, can you repeat it now? What are custom pipes in Angular? Hanumant? Okay. Anita, can you tell? Anita?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you tell what are custom pipes? Ramana, can you tell what are custom pipes?
Custom pipes will be declared with the decorator of separate pipe,
At the rate of pipe decorator. Okay.
the pipe decorator, and name it as name as a
We'll give the name for the pipe.
name for the pipe, and as per in our class, we will implement one interface as a pipe transfer,
Okay.
and that can be pipe can be transformed from method of transform.
Okay. Pipe transform provides a method called transform. Okay.
And within the parameters, we can give the value.
Okay. And it returns the formatted data. Yeah. Now you can tell it in a simple words. Okay. We can create a custom pipe using at the rate of pipe decorator, inside which we can give the name of the pipe. Okay. And every pipe class implements on an interface called pipe transform. Okay. And this pipe transform provides a method called transform, which receives the value. Okay. And it returns the formatted value. Whatever manipulations we want to do, conversions we want to do, we can do it. Okay. And that data is returned. Any doubts, anyone? You need to be clear while you are explaining. Okay. Any doubts? Hmm. Anita, now can you talk? Can I ask you some questions?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Now tell me about directives, custom directives, how to create a custom directive.
Using exit directive decorator.
Okay. You need to tell like how you will tell to an interviewer. Okay. Then what all things we will do in this directives?
Selector.
Okay. Okay.
Square bracket highlight. This is declaring the module declaration.
Okay. Everyone, please listen the classes properly and again watch the videos. Okay. Nobody will tell these many times to watch and come back. If you watch, there is no benefit for me, but benefit to you. Okay. You people are paying the money, not me. Yeah, Bhargavi or Shilpa, can someone tell?
Yes, Anusha.
Yeah, Bhargavi.
About directive at the rate of
Yes. Yeah, what are custom directives?
custom directive is one is at the rate decorative,
At
the
the
rate
rate of directive decorator. Okay.
pipe decorator,
Okay. Custom directives I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can use @directive by using syntax for that is @directive
Okay.
selector name
We
inside
need
the
to
flower.
give the selector for this directive. Okay. And this will be the name of the directive, basically. Okay. And we will be having the directive class.
Yes. Export class sample directive.
Okay. And you will be inject wherever you are applying this directive selected, right? So
Yes.
what this is used for? These are used for adding the extra behavior to an HTML element. Am I correct? These directives are used for adding some extra behavior to our HTML element. That element reference we can get it through what?
By using constructor.
Yes, by using constructor, we can get that HTML element reference. Correct.
Yes. Yes, sir.
And this element, whatever behavior you want to apply, you can do it. Suppose if you want to apply the background color, you need to change the background color. Okay.
Style background color. According to our
Yeah. So if anyone says how to create a custom directives, you need to tell them basically the custom directives are used for adding the behavior to an HTML element, and you can create the file with .directive.ts file, and that file you can declare it with @directive decorator, and you can even provide the selector, which is the name of the directive, and we will be having the class sample directive. So wherever this directive is applied, we will get the element reference of that particular HTML element that can be injected into the constructor, and the desired behavior can be added. This you can tell. Any doubts, anyone? I will just repeat it. Okay. Custom directives means adding extra behavior to our HTML element, or providing additional information or adding extra behavior to our HTML element. So you need to create a file with .directive.ts file. If you see this sample directive.ts file, okay, and you will be declaring this file with @directive decorator, which will contain the selector, which is the name of this directive. Okay, and whenever any directive is created, what we need to do, we need to declare it in the app module file, and we will be having the sample directive class. Okay, wherever this directive is applied, we can get the HTML element reference of that, and whatever behavior we want to add it, we can add it. Any doubts, anyone?
No.
Okay. Now, how to make an HTTP call?
Using HTTP client.
Okay, tell me the steps, like how can we proceed?
It is used to make a API calls in Angular.
Okay.
We cannot use it directly.
Okay.
We'll inject it in a constructor and then we can use it. We'll use it and we'll return the observable.
Okay.
Import.
So how will you write it? You mean to say we will inject it in the constructor, correct? Which you are telling, suppose I will create one variable name private HTTP, and it is of type HTTP client. Am I correct? Now how will you use this?
Import HTTP.
This .http .api call, right? Where is the API call?
This .http.get.
Get of what you will provide here, URL you will
HTTP
provide.
URL. Yes.
Then does this directly give you an API response?
No, we should use subscribe.
Why? What is this? Because why we should use the subscribe?
To To get the value of it.
Because it's an observable, we need to subscribe, otherwise we will not get the data.
Yes.
Okay. Now what is this?
Observable.
It's an
Observable.
observable. So in order to get the data from the observable, what you need to do?
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Okay. And there will
Data.
be two things. Okay. This is one callback function, right? Response. Okay. Which receives the data directly. Am I correct?
Yes.
Suppose if there is an error, what you need to do? You need to just provide one comma and you can give error callback function.
Okay.
Any doubts?
No.
Now tell me again how to do an API calls in Angular.
By
Just,
using HTTP client.
just remember in a simple terms and try to explain it in the simple terms. Okay. Yeah, tell.
By using HTTP client.
You shouldn't say one line to this to an interviewer, no, Bhargavi.
HTTP client used to make an API calls in Angular.
Okay. How will you do that? You need to, till now I told you, no, this and all you need to explain it.
We can do that by passing we cannot use it directly. We'll inject it in a constructor and then we can use it and we'll return the observable.
It will return an observable. You need to say this dot http dot get and we will give the URL to where to make an API call. These will give an observable. In order to get the data from that, we need to subscribe to it and we need to get the data you need to sell. Okay. So I'll repeat it. If we want to make any API call in our Angular application, we need to use of HTTP client. So this HTTP client should be injected into the constructor and using this .http.get method. For example, if the API call is get API call, this .http.get method with URL will be provided. So these will return an observable. In order to get the data from that, we need to subscribe to that and we can access the data. Any doubts, anyone? Any doubts? So if you understand these concepts, right, 50% of the Angular you will be knowing. That's why I'm repeatedly asking all these concepts to you. You will be easily able to work in the environment. How will an Angular application starts? How will you tell that Angular application starts?
By main method.
Main method where? How an Angular application will start? The second class itself I have told this. Shilpa, can you tell?
And navigate the folder.
Sorry, Shilpa.
To start the Angular application, we need to go to the terminal and then
How an Angular,
navigate the folder.
how an Angular application is starting basically means how this
Yeah.
app component is getting rendered on the browser.
Starts with @ component.
How will Angular application works behind? How will you know that this app component is the starting component and all?
By going into
Package.json file.
Which file?
Package.json.
JSON.
Package.json.
Package.json file is for dependencies. If you have
Angular.
installed any packages, those packages will get reflected in the package.
Yeah, for dependencies.
Sorry. Yeah, now you can tell. You can see easily and you can tell. Yes, fine.
Main.ts, index.html.
Where those will be available?
Angular.json.
Angular.json.
Every Angular
Actually, I
file.
don't understood your question starting only. That's why I'm get confused.
Okay. Every Angular
No,
application consists
yeah,
of a
yeah,
file
yeah.
called Angular.
Angular.json.
In this, what will be present?
Index.html and the main.ts file is there.
Okay, what will main.ts file will do?
Stars report.
It gives the app module.
So what it will do, it will create browser environment for our application to work. Okay, and it contains something called bootstrapping module, which is
Module, app
that
module.
starting module, which is the app module.
App module.
Okay, then proceed.
In a
In that index.html file, there is the app root.
Yeah, first proceed to app module. In that, how will you tell that it's a starting component and all?
by going into declaration part, we'll see.
Going into the app.module.js.
It
Okay,
specifies the browser module imports the app module.
it imports a browser module to tell
Browser
that
module.
it's a root module. Okay,
Root
but
module
how
or
will you tell that
starting module.
app component is the starting component?
By seeing in declaration.
Bootstrap.
By seeing the bootstrap.
Bootstrap.
Declaration is for whenever you are declaring any component, any directive, any pipe, you will just declare it here. But if you want to know what is the start component, there is this param called bootstrap, which provides the starting application. In
Yes.
this, you go and check, you will see the selector, right? App root.
Yes.
This
app root.
selector is used as a custom HTML tag in the what file?
Index.
Index.html file. You can see it here, right?
Yeah.
Now explain me everything from scratch. How will an Angular application works behind the scenes? Till now you people told na, repeat it again.
You should go to angular.json file.
You need to tell like every Angular application consists of a file named angular.json. Okay.
In that index.html and main.ts file is included.
Okay. Okay, then
Then in that main.ts file, we can check the app module or the starting module.
we will get to know the starting module, which is the app module you need to
App
tell.
module.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then
In that
And
we will
after
contain
that
a
app component, we can see in Bootstrap only, in that only.
in the app module, it's not a component. Okay, in the
Yeah,
app
yeah, app module.
module will contain a
In-
bootstrap
bootstrap
app
where we
component.
can find the
Okay,
starting file, starting the component.
yes, I will repeat it. Every Angular application consists of a file called angular.json. Okay, by looking at this file, we will get to know what is the starting component. The main and the index will provide the starting part of this application, which are main.ts file and index.html file. If we check main.ts file, it creates a browser environment for the Angular application to work, and it provides a bootstrapping module, which is the starting module and which is the app module. If we go to the app module, it provides a parameter called bootstrap, which is the app component by default. Okay, and in the index.html, we will be containing the selector of the app component. This is how an Angular application works, you need to tell. Any doubts, anyone?
No.
Okay. Tell me about host listener.
Listens to the event.
Is an event to change, to
Okay.
listen changes.
It listens to the events. Okay. Explain me in simple terms.
By using the host listener, we can change the given thing by using that.
So whenever
Add.
whenever we are creating a custom behavior to an HTML tag, we will be creating something called custom directives. Okay. And if we apply our custom directive to an HTML element, if we want to perform some operations based on some events, we will be using something called host listener, which in turn calls a callback method and provides the added behavior or desired behavior. Okay. You can give an example of custom directive. Okay. You can apply that directive to your HTML tag. And what you can do, you can add some host listener with the events, click or mouse enter or mouse leave, and you can provide the method and you can call that method. Any doubts, anyone? You people understood or not? So whenever we are having the custom directive, whenever this custom directive is applied, and whenever any events happened on that particular HTML element, we will listen to that event using @host listener decorator. Okay. And we can have our custom method defined. On mouse enter, what we need to do. On mouse leave, what desired output you want, you can do it. Any doubts, anyone? This is the use of what?
Host listener.
Host listener. Okay. Now I will tell you how to create a service. Okay. For example, I will tell what services are used for. Okay. What is the meaning of redundant piece of code? What is the
Reducing
meaning
the
of
repeating-
redundant code? Yeah, Ramana.
Reducing the repeated.
Right, having some repeated code is called redundant code. Same piece of code was present twice, thrice, or many times, more than once. That piece of code is called redundant code. Suppose, imagine, okay, we have this child component, okay, and I will just make an API call here. It's already there, okay. And then what I will do, I'll make one more API call, the same API call. Okay. So what happened? The same API call I am calling in this component. Okay. And the same API call I am again calling here. I am writing a redundant piece of code, right? In order to reduce this redundant piece of code, what we will do, we will be creating something called services. Services in Angular. Okay. Now let me create one service. Okay. You will create with service.ts file, or you can generally use the command as well. And if you are creating any service, you need to use @inject decorator. Okay. And
Nisha, can you repeat the statement for services again?
sorry, Bhargavi.
Can you repeat the definition for services? Why we will use it?
Yeah. Suppose there are two components. Okay. And in the two components, if you are making the same API call, here you are making one API call, and the same API call you are in the different component, you are again making the same API call. In order to reduce the redundant piece of code, we can create the services and we can use the component we can make use of that service.
Okay.
Okay, in order to reduce the redundant piece of code, we can create the services, and in that we can have some method which does this API call, and we can inject this service into our components. We can subscribe to that, we can get the data. That is the use of services in Angular. Okay, basically for making the API calls and for reducing the redundant piece of code. Any doubts? And any file, if it is a service, we will be declaring with .service.ts file, and we will be using @injectable decorator for declaring a service. To tell that it's a service file, we need to declare it with @injectable decorator, and we will give one parameter called provided in root, means it is available entire the Angular application. Any in this entire application, any app component, any component can use this service. For that, we are telling provided in root. Okay, and you can just have the service name or the class name, export class, custom service. Okay, any doubts, anyone? In this, you can write your own methods. I will just have constructor, and in order to make an API call, what we need?
We need HTTP client.
Yes, we need HTTP client. And what we need to do we need to inject it in the constructor or not?
Yes.
Provide private HTTP, and it is of type, sorry, and it is of type HTTP client. And in this, what you can do, you can have one method. Okay, for example, get data. Okay, what does this method do? This method will directly return the HTTP call. HTTP dot get, and what's that URL? This is the URL. Okay, now you can directly use the URL. Okay, this method will return this what? What is this?
URL of API call.
What is this entire thing? API call, but it's an observable, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So what is the return type of this method?
Void.
Hey, why it will be void?
No. Sorry.
Private.
What is the return type?
Observables.
Yes, you are clearly mentioning it is returning this observable, right? Then what will be the return type? When you will have a void, whenever your function doesn't return anything, then it is, you will tell it's a void function. Okay,
Yes.
if you are telling this wrongly, it's very bad. You have been listening the classes from many days. You need to know what functions are doing. Okay. Now this method, okay, is returning observable, and this service you will access it in your components and you will get the data. Okay, I'll show you. So whenever we have created any service, what we need to do, we need to provide it in the app module file. Okay, and now what you will do, you will just inject this service. Private service, okay, and your service. Now what you will do, which method in this service is returning you the observable? Which method in this service is returning the observable?
Get data.
Get data. So what you will do, this dot service dot get data method you call. Now what we need to do, since you can see it here now, see, if I hover on it, it is what it is telling, it's an observable of object. So in order to access the data, what you need to do?
Return.
In order to access the data of an observable, what you need to do?
Subscribe. We should subscribe.
Subscribe.
Okay.
Subscribe.
Just a minute. So what you need to do, you need to just subscribe to the data, correct? Okay, now let us take the response and then print it. Okay, let us now check. Able to see it, right? Any doubts, anyone? Any doubts? Any doubts?
No.
Oh. Now, if so, these kind of creating one service and injecting into the constructor and using this is called dependency injection. Okay, so Angular provides this smooth mechanism called dependency injection, which means that services you can inject it into the constructor and the desired output you can get it from the services. This mechanism is known as dependency injection. Yeah, this concept is known as dependency injection. Any doubts, anyone? Any doubts? Now tell
No.
me, how can I use the same service here? Now tell me, how can I use the same service here? Just now I have did it in app component, right? What I have done, I have injected the created service and then use the method, okay, in the service using the subscription. Now tell me, how can I do it? Just tell, I'll be only 3 minutes. I have a meeting at 10:30. Everybody is sleeping.
Training.
Array, what I did till now, tell that now.
Private service.
I already created service. I need to inject it here. How can I do that?
This dot service.
Just inject it in the constructor, right? And what will be the type here? What will be the type here?
Custom service.
Custom service I have created. Okay. In what method I have this data?
This dot service dot get data.
Get data method, I have the data. And what I can do, I can just subscribe to that and get the response. Any doubts, anyone? You can see the same service, right? We are using the same service and we are getting the data. So if two components are making the same HTTP call, in order to get rid of this redundant piece of code, we can create one service, and the service file will be saved with .service.ts, and you can declare that service file with @injectable decorator, and you can write your method which returns that API call, and you can just inject that service in your components. And this way of injecting the services in the component and accessing the methods of service is known as dependency injection. Okay. Any doubts, anyone? Okay, then that's it for today. We'll meet in the next class. Okay. So just
Okay.
practice this service, how to create this service and all, and let me know. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Tomorrow I'll tell you the concepts of routing and all. Okay.
Okay.